Hey gang, welcome back. So this weekend was the Yu-Gi-Oh! National Championships, and I played at the Genesis Championship as well as the Genesis Attack of the Giant card. I won Sunday's Attack of the Giant card and got this really cool Satellar Knight Del Taros that hopefully we can frame up in the very near future. And yeah, I just wanted to kind of discuss the event, the deck list, and everything related to that. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. First things first, for this event, we played Dracotail. Maybe surprising, maybe not. Um, I do still think Dracotail is really good, even after all the hits the deck has taken. The deck is still one of the best breaker decks in the format. It's still amazing at going first, and it just is one of the most balanced decks where it can play well into a lot of different types of boards without relying on non-engine, and it just has so many different ways to play. You can adapt your deck so well to what your opponent's doing. You have so many different ways to interact with them, and I think all of that just makes the deck still really, really good. It felt like a good call. I still think it was a good call. I had some really just bad luck in the main. But I'll get into that a little bit later. Deck list is pretty similar to a couple other we posted, but some very key differences as well. So first up, we play all the names we can. We have 1 5-mana, 3 Lucius, 3 Frixel, 3 Pan, 3 Urgula, and 2 Malulus. You could play the third Malulu, but you'd need to cut Cartesia completely and the fusion deployments, which I think 2 Cartesia, 3 deployment is worth more than 1 Malulu. But, I mean, that's up to personal preference. I think you could make an argument for the third Malulu, but it's pretty tough. If there really was any way at all to play like 1 Cartesia 3 Malulu, I'd do it, but you'd have to like cut Flame, which is just not worth it. There's really just no way to do it, and you just gotta, be fine with playing 2 Malulu. How these cards work, they all have one main effect they all share, which is when they're sent to graveyard as fusion material, they can set a Dracotail spell trap from the deck, and then the 3 dragons have an extra effect being destroying spell traps, destroying monsters, and negating monsters. And then the spellcasters have no extra effects, and they'll have one other effect. So Frixel is a monster reborn, then bounce. Lucius is a Rhoda. 5 mana as a quick effect, discard or self-diffuse. Pawn is when a fusion monster is destroyed, you get to revive a Dracotail from graveyard. Urgula lets you ignition effect, add back one of the spellcasters, and Malulu is a Cartesia effect on the field. We played 2 Cartesia, which is where the rest of our points go. That's not in Dracotail Engine, because if you play 1 Arthalion, 1 Flame, 1 Ketu, 1 Rahu, 1 5 mana, and 2 Malulus, that's 92 points, so you could just play 2 Cartesia to go to 98. I think that was definitely worth it, because Fusion Deployment is such a good card. You want as many fusions as possible, and again, as it turns out, maybe the third Malulu would have been nice, but I still think this is correct to play. We play 3 copies of King of the Swamp, 3 copies of Poly, and 2 copies of Black Sheep, right? So 8 polymerizations. Both King of the Swamp and Black Sheep are not once per turn to add, so as many times as you want, you can discard it to add Poly, which is really important because you're often going to be discarding it, add Poly to make Arthalion, and then Arthalion add it back again to search another Poly. So yeah, we play 1 Rahu, 1 Ketu. Rahu's a fusion summon using deck. Ketu lets you add and then fusion summon if they have a monster. Ketu's obviously a lot better if they have a monster because you need to use one from the hand for your Dracotail, and this only does Dracotail. Ketu can do any dragon or spellcaster monster, so it's a lot better going second. But yeah, you can only play 1 of each. Theoretically, if you played 1 Cartesia, 1 Malulu, you could play another Rahu, but that would be kind of counterintuitive because Malulu is better than Rahu. We played 2 Sting, 1 Horn, 1 Flame. If you did want to play 1 Malulu, you could probably cut down to 1 Sting. But you go through both spells and all 3 drop turn 1 basically all the time, and having another one in deck to set to be able to wield Pawn, Urgila, or Malulu as an interruption is really important. And just helps the grind a lot anyway. And then the last 2 techs, we play 3 Crowley. So Crowley is an additional way to start comboing because you can normal summon it and use it and Frixel to make Mechaba, or use it and Urgila or Pawn to make Sorath. Because it's treated as Alistair on the field. So you can do that to start your plays, right? If you have Lucius, Malulu, Famana, you can play anyway. And then, in addition to that, when it's added back, you can special summon it when it's added to hand. And that's not just from deck, right? So if you fuse this away to make Arthalion, or just make Arthalion in general, and then Arthalion add this back, you can special summon it and then trigger it to fusion summon any Magician or Invoked. So if you, say, use like a name plus this to make Arthalion, you can add them both back, and then special it and use this in Arthalion to make Zoroa, or use this in a light to make Mechaba. And again, that works on both players' turns. So in your turn, you're going to Arthalion, add it back, use it in Arthalion to make Zoroa. On your opponent's turn, you're going to use it. You're just going to make another Arthalion in general while leaving it in the grave. Arthalion, add it back and make Mechaba. Ida is probably the card that most people have never seen in their lives. This card, what it says is when it's normal summoned or flipped face up, you can special any spellcaster monster with 1500 defense from hand or deck face down. So this lets you summon Frixel face down or Cartesia face down. So importantly, if you don't have a name, you can just special Frixel face down, fuse it away, add this back. This is like a spellcaster you can use for like Zoroa, or Secretarian rather, which is really nice, right? Unless you have a name, which is super important. But then also, if you already have the names, you can special summon Cartesia face down, and on your opponent's turn, you get to flip up a face down spellcaster monster. So it lets you get a Cartesia fusion on your opponent's turn if you already have ways to play, which is super, super nice. This card is really good. In the extra, we play Arthalion, which is the last 20 points. 2 Glomalt, 2 Shaoless, and 2 Secretarian. You need to play 2 of all of these. If you had to cut one, it'd probably be Glomalt, but they all come up so much, especially Secretarian. The fact that this both gives you an add back and a revive, being like able to put Arthalion back into the extra deck and like special a Frixel or a Lucius is just insane. Because again, if you're doing that, you're putting the Arthalion back, you special Frixel gets another special, and it goes back to hand. So Frixel comes to hand. If you special like Lucius triggers as well, so it's like a +5. Mysterian is one of the main forms of interaction we have. It's an any spellcaster plus a dragon, right? Famana can make it, Cartesia can make it. And then if your opponent uses any monster effect that special summons itself or a monster with the same original type, you can target one of those monsters that they summoned, banish it and all monsters with the same original name. So that means a lot of decks that have like effect that reveals itself and specials, you can chain to make this, and it will see the effect that special summons it, and you can banish it and everything with the same type, which is super nice. Chaos is any light or dark dragon plus a dragon, and then when you make it, you get to pop everything up to the number of light and darks. So you can only use dragons as materials, but you can use one non-light or dark dragon, like an Arthalion or a Pawn, with a light dragon like Secretarian, Malulu, Shaoless. And you get 1 pop if you used 1, 2 pops if you used 2. Just a nice thing to have. YUGIOH is basically just for the fusion deployment, although if you do have to make it, you're going to typically send Shaoless, because it's a level 6 light. It's going to be a fusion to add back Cartesia, and it's also a Dracotail name, so if you have like just Cartesia, like a black sheep or whatever, and one of these, or multiple of these, you can send the Shaoless, Cartesia comes back, and then you're going to have a Dracotail in graveyard to recycle for these. Timaeus is one of the best cards in the deck. This card is really strong. Nobody knew what it did. So you can use King of the Swamp plus any dragon or spellcaster. So King of the Swamp plus anything. It's a dragon, so Famana, Cartesia can all make it. And basically, when it's summoned, it's unaffected by all other cards' effects, not just activated effects, all other cards' effects for your turn, your opponent's turn, and then your next turn. So 3 turns. When it battles, so it's attacked or it is attacked, in damage, you can gain 100 attack for all spells in both graves and both banishments. And remember, since it's unaffected for multiple turns, that's going to trigger multiple times, and that gain is permanent. So when it attacks, it gains 100 for all spells in both graves, both banishments, and then either your opponent will attack and it'll gain again, or on your next turn, you'll attack, it'll gain again. So it gets super big. Can just clear a lot of dumb things. Like it cleared like a Magnus. It cleared, just like dumb towers monsters. And then on your opponent's turn, it's a quick effect just to pop any spell trap. This was really nice against Blitzclick, just because it's unaffected. They don't have a way to out it, and then you can get like multiple pops for your opponent's like traps, get them out of the rotation. They'll still trigger, but they typically only play like the one spell negate and the 2 of the shuffler, and just being able to get them out of rotation means you can win a grind game against Blitz pretty well. It's big enough to get over the Whisker, and again, they can't really do anything to beat it. Tyrant. This is King of the Swamp plus a dragon. It's unaffected by trap cards, gets to attack everything for OTK lines, and then when it battled at the end of the damage step, you can reset a trap card. That triggers even if they attack over Tyrant, which is really nice. Zoroa, you use Crowley plus any fusion, synchro, or Xyz fusion, obviously, and then you can ignition effect equip any monster your opponent controls or in your graveyard to it. And then when a monster effect is activated, you can send any face-up Magicious monster card you control to the graveyard. That can be Crowley, because you can equip Crowley from graveyard to it and then send it for the Zoroa's negate. You get to negate the effect and then pop any card on the field non-targeting. And then by Mechaba and Sorath. Sorath has a revive, but it doesn't really come up. It's just to normal Crowley and fuse away one of these 2 and start playing. In the side deck, play 3 Vidos. This card's super good right now. It's really good against Blitz. It's good against just a lot of decks in general. Fairy Tale. It's okay against Artmage. It's really just a great card in general. 3 Seer Mode. This card just destroys a lot of decks. Most decks just aren't prepared for Seer Mode. If you summon it, they just can't do anything about it. We play the 1 Shaddoll Beast, 3 Shaddoll Fusion, 1 Grista, and 1 Meshashurer. This card is insane. Obviously, the old play was Shaddoll Fusion, send Beast and Urgula. You have Urgula pop and Urgula set. You get a Beast draw, then Urgula's from graveyard to add back a spellcaster. Super good. But now we have Meshashurer, which lets you send Beast, Lucius, and Balulu. So you get 2 sets, non-targeting negate. You have Shaddoll Beast to draw a card. Meshashurer can add you another Shaddoll card from deck. And then it's also just unaffected by any activated spell traps effects and all monsters that are level rank 9 or lower. So it's unaffected by all monsters that are level rank 9 or lower. All spell trap cards, it's 28. And it gets to also add a Shaddoll card from deck to hand. And if it's sent to graveyard, by any means, you can revive a Shaddoll monster from grave. This card's just nuts. Then we play 3 Dominus Spiral. Fun fact about Dominus Spiral. This card says you cannot activate the effects of light or dark monsters for the rest of the duel. If you activate it from your hand. Y'all know a light or dark monster that activates on your side of the field? Yep, that's right, folks. It stops Mjolnir. They're very funny. That came up where you activate it and they just can't Mjolnir you, because this card activates on your own field. But yeah, this card's pretty good for stopping a lot of the FTK decks. Hero, a lot of the combos, Lucis Spiral, just a lot of the FTK decks in general, they struggle in a Dominus Spiral, so that's why we play it. Your deck it's hurt by it, but like you can still play King of the Swamp. You can still use Pawn, you can use Urgula, you can use Malulu, you can use Pawn, Urgula, Lucius, and 5 mana, so the most important names, right? You lose Frixel and Malulu, you lose Cartesia. and Crowley, but you still have King of the Swamps. Um, you don't play it much, but when you need it, it's like, okay, you'll make that sacrifice because it'll stop you from getting FTK'd. One of the best free non-engine in the format. Card was super good. So for the event, I made day 2 and then lost. Again, I still think it was a good card, good call. I was able to beat multiple Satellar Knight players when I went second. I was able to beat multiple Blitzclick players going first and going second. Really, the majority of my losses came to round 1. I got shifted game 1 and game 2. I had multiple rounds where I drew 0 names, and that includes Ida. 0 names including Ida. We played 20 names, drew 0 names multiple times. You have like a 1% chance to draw 0 names in one game. The odds of doing it in 2 games in a match is significantly lower. It's really, really low chance, and it happened multiple times at the event. And that's how I got 3 of my losses, was because I got double shifted in round 1, and then 2 other rounds I drew 0 names twice in the same match. Which, I mean, that's just Yu-Gi-Oh. I get it, but it just sucked where it's like on day 1 I had a double shifter twice in a row game, and 2 other games where I just drew completely unplayable twice, in a deck that is very consistent. Not much you can do about that. You just got to take that on the chin, keep moving forward. But it definitely was frustrating, because I did think that I had a deck that was able to beat all the other decks in the room. If I could go back, I would take this deck again, even though top 8 was all Blitzclick. I felt this deck had a good matchup into Blitzclick. I felt like every single game I went first, I was winning. Like, even Crackle Whisker, I feel like I was beating the majority of the time. Sometimes you can't beat Crackle Whisker going first, but the majority of times I was like, I know how to play in a Crackle Whisker, because I can just keep a Cartesia on my field the whole time and never use it. If I just have like Cartesia plus like one of these, which would draw a lot, or like even Malulu plus one of these, or like a Lucius, you can like hold Firmina the whole time. And I was like specifically doing that against all the Blitzkick players. I was like scouting them out. I was like, okay, if I play any of these guys, in the rounds, I'm going to specifically do this and specifically play around Crackle Whisker. And I was beating them when they drew it, and they drew it a lot against me. But it is what it is. There's not really too much you can do. That's just how Yu-Gi-Oh works. Sometimes you're not going to get super lucky in a tournament. And again, I still feel super happy that I went. Obviously, the Giant card was awesome. It's frustrating because I thought that I had like possibly the best deck in the room going into this, and I felt like I definitely could have taken it all if I had the better side of fate. But that's just how Yu-Gi-Oh works. Yeah, thank you to you all for watching. I hope you all try out Genesis yourself. There's so many playable decks right now, even though I saw Top Cut was 7 Blitz clicks. Trust me, that is not the only playable deck right now. There are many, many, many playable decks. Blitzclick is pretty fun to play into. It's not an FTK deck by any stretch of the imagination. If you know how to play, there are many, many ways you can play into Blitzclick. The deck is very strong right now. It's going to get points, but trust me, it's not like anything unhealthy. Genesis is an absolute blast, so please try it out for yourself. There's so many unexplored decks. There are many decks that are just not being played right now that are significantly good. Like, the majority of decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! You probably can take into Genesis and be able to have really good experience with. So please, I just say, give the whole man a try. It's a ton of fun. Absolutely having a blast. And yeah, take care, guys. Have a good one. Peace.